Hey guys, welcome back to Black Rock Nissan Off-Road, and today I wanted to talk about the most recent modification to my 2017 Frontier, aka Black Rock. Automatic transmissions tend to get a lot of negativity from enthusiasts, and understandably so. The factory automatic transmissions are designed for the regular buyer who wants comfort and to be oblivious to the car's operation. They just kind of want to listening to the newest podcast from Nissan Nation, or talking to their BFF, whatever. So manufacturers design automatic transmissions to shift slow and soft, so you just can't really tell or feel what's happening. However, for those of us who do prefer having increased connectedness to our vehicle, we don't mind the intrusions. I don't mind the intrusions. So if you're like me, I prefer it. That's why today I wanted to review the Transgo HD2 transmission shift kit for the second gen Frontier 5-speed automatic transmission. As I recall, this is also the same kit for the Titan automatic transmission. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that it is from Transgo, so it's the same part number. And so I've had this kit installed for about a week now. I want to put it through its paces and let all the magical particles and fairy dust that allow automatic transmissions to work get properly stirred together. Impressions, and I'm going to attach some videos here as well that what it looks like in terms of RPMs and shifting and everything, so you can see at least by the tack about how quickly those events happen from like 1-2 shift to 2-3, 3-4, and such. But kind of just starting off talking about driving around the city. It's being easy on the throttle, partial throttle. Really, there's barely any difference in how the transmission performs. I was actually very impressed because driving around the city and stuff, I'm not looking for anything sportier. I know that it needs to be an easy transition, everything. And that's again what I would expect. So pulling out and everything, barely tell the shifts are faster for sure, but there's definitely nothing harsh about it. It's very smooth, very intentional. If a person I think was to get into my truck now and driving it normally, they're not going to notice any kind of difference. So with wife and kids driving around, that's what I would want. Because when they're in the vehicle and stuff, I'm not going to be driving more aggressively or sporty. So here, just pulling out, you can see it's just smooth. So nothing aggressive, nothing that's going to jar you or make the truck undrivable or just uncomfortable. Also, I think it's important to note that given that truck is a family vehicle and used daily driven in lower traction scenarios like rain, snow, gravel, I don't want something that's going to be occur so quickly in the shift that risk losing traction. I prefer that more appropriate kind of shift on lower throttle. And so I want the vehicle to be predictable, I think is how I would describe that, and it certainly does that. The other thing I noticed when going up hills, when the grade increases, the transmission seems to hold higher gears for longer periods of time. I really like that. I've always felt like, at least in my truck, that it tends to shift down too quickly, in my opinion, where vehicles, the engines, especially in the Frontier, the VQ40, has plenty of power to pull up those grades, I think, just with a little bit more throttle. But inherently in how the transmission control module is programmed and how it's set up, it's going to kick it down out of overdrive or into whatever lower gear it determines that's needed in the moment, and to get you on up and maintain your speed and such. I don't care to lose 3 to 4 miles per hour going uphill to stay in a higher gear. to me, that's really not a big deal, especially when nobody's behind me. When you are ready to get on it, when you are really ready to see what this shift kit's going to do, um, pulling out, accelerating from a stop, full throttle, that's when this shift kit comes alive. And so that initial 1-2 shift, it's confident, very fast. So when you are looking at getting up on that on ramp, hammer down on the throttle, immediate shift down, and you're going. And there's not that any kind of delay that you might normally have, and it's allowing, it's working fast, allowing that engine to go ahead and get that power to the wheels to keep you going. So I'm cruising along here, and just to kind of give a brief demonstration of downshifting. So very quick downshift, shifting into the next gear, continue to accelerate. It's really nice. You're in the next gear and you keep going. Very impressive, and how well it works and how smooth it works. It's very crisp shifts, transition between those gears. So downshifts, upshifts, when you're getting more aggressive and driving the vehicle, really just performs well. Still, very smooth, but just without the slipping between the clutches, and getting that power, as much as possible to the rear wheels. The truck really feels transformed. I had a 2003 Maxima, I did the same thing, and those were really, had problems. I talked about that design of being really soft in the shift, which then creates this slippage between the clutches. They really wear. All that slipping and everything that makes the magic happen with automatic transmission, that's wear. It's going to happen. So the more slippage, the more wear. But I did a HD2 kit from Transgo on it, and woke it up. My absolute favorite mod on that car. It allowed me to take everything else I had done to it that kept it a slush box, and that term I think really fit for that car until the shift kit. And then it was just really phenomenal, fun to drive, very reliable, even despite having over 100,000 miles on it when I put the kit in. And I want to emphasize that there just wasn't the kind of delay or slippage that occurs. So when you're in that gear, the car kept on pulling. Before, it was felt like 2 or 3 seconds of the transition, it was slipping. And so certainly in my truck, the 2017, there wasn't that kind of wear or anything. But, I think eventually with vehicles, that's going to happen to whatever degree. So one of the things that is a benefit here is that it is going to reduce wear. But the typical kind that you would have with just age and operation, it's not going to happen the same. Again, as long as you're not beating on it constantly and those kinds of things, it really should last. And something that I think people don't recognize is that when you are reducing the amount of slippage and stuff that happens in the transition and the shifting, you are actually reducing transmission temperatures. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say you're reducing it by X number or whatever. It's really going to depend on your use. It's probably not going to be where you're towing or hauling on a flat surface, where you're going through the gears, and once you're up to speed, you stay in a gear. I don't think that there's going to be benefit in that scenario. Where I do think that you're going to see reduced temps, and the real benefit is a lot of stop and go stuff. So if you're towing, hauling around town, and you're going through the gears up and down a lot and transitioning, I think that's where you're really going to see the benefit of the Transgo shift kit. And where, if you've got a camper or those kinds of things, that you're really going to benefit and be pleased with how that helps to save your transmission and the work that it's doing carrying that load. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and if there's any questions, post something, let me know, and I'll get back with you. Like always, take care and be safe.